Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be just doing something special. You know I normally record about credit cards. I do content about credit cards. But today I decided to do something different and talk about debit cards instead. So I titled it The Best Cashback Earning Debit Cards. That's what we're talking about today. Just strictly cards that are great at giving cashback incentives in South Africa for people who normally just focus on using debit cards instead of the credit cards. I'm just gonna record from this iPhone like this and hope it comes out nice and crisp. A lot of South Africans use debit cards, and I'd be missing the point if I just only talked about credit cards exclusively when the majority of the country is using, debit cards. Call them checking accounts or, debit cards or transactional accounts, but they are here to stay in South Africa. And we're looking at 4 banks and we're going to be rating 5 categories. So from each bank, I'm going to be choosing one product that is going to satisfy low or middle income earners, people who are the working class, people who recently got new jobs, and just generally people who don't come from money. If you guys want to see the private or elite cards, I can make a video about that separately, but this one is exclusively for people who just want a normal debit card. In the South African market, as you're looking up products, you're trying to find out which debit card should I choose. One thing I will say to this is that credit cards and debit cards are about lifestyles. You can't take a debit card or credit card advice from a friend who's using it for a particular reason and think it's going to work best for your lifestyle. Typically not how it works. So you do need to consider what you spend on every single thing and how often you go shopping and what you spend on most of the time. And that's the only way you can actually properly choose the right banking product for you. I wrote down 5 categories. So we're going to be looking at 5 things to determine whether this banking product is best for you. So we're going to be looking at the banking app. Then we're going to be looking at the savings, followed by the fees, then the rewards, and finally, the overall value you get. So the preface of this was that I chose debit cards that can actually earn cashback. So if it doesn't earn cashback, it's not on this list. I really don't like it when a bank is just simplicity and actually doesn't offer you any services besides just, the normal transactional fees, because it's actually quite expensive. Think about it. You walk into a supermarket, there's people with credit cards and points and miles and cashback incentives. The store is paying a bunch of fees itself, and one of those fees is the transactional fee for you every time you swipe with your card. So now what they normally do is raise the prices to sort of offset those fees that they normally get charged, so things get slightly expensive. And in local stores, we normally find out that they usually just have a merchant fee, their own merchant fee. So they'll charge anything around 5 to 10 rand. Like liquor stores normally do this, but so does tuck shops and spaza shops and all things like that. If you want to swipe, they'll charge you 5 rand top-up fee. So it's upfront and you will know how much you'll pay. But the big gigantic stores that we do most of our shopping in don't have those things. So it is important to consider that you're actually paying more. So if you don't want these discounts, these cashbacks, these incentives, and you think, they're expensive anyway, I'll just stay out of it, you're actually paying more. And mind you, taxes are quite high in the country. I spoke about this in my last video, but nevertheless, just make sure if you don't want a credit card to pay attention to this video at least. So like I said, the basis here is not about the best debit cards, although these can certainly qualify as one of the best because they can earn you cashback rates and give you some discounts and even free perks. Stay tuned to hear more about those. So the banks I primarily looked at first are going to be the most popular one. How I made the choices of these banks is because of their products, what they offer. The first bank I obviously looked at is Discovery. The second is Capitec. The third is Nedbank, and the fourth is FNB. These banks are known to be some of the greater banks or more favored or win the most awards. And so obviously they would make the best qualify as such products, which is why I've included them in my list. We're just going to see the definition of what a bundled fees account is and what a transactional pay-as-you-use account is. These are 2 types of debit accounts, right? A bundled fees account is a bank account with a fixed monthly fee that includes a bundle of services like free ATM withdrawals, debit orders. It's kind of like the all-you-can-eat kind of banking. Like they'll package one fixed monthly fee for all of your transactions. It won't matter how much you swipe. And then the most popular one in South Africa, a transactional pay-as-you-use account. Most people have this in their setup, in their wallets. So this is only pay what you use kind of service. It makes the most practical sense to get this account, right? Because why would I pay more for something that I don't use? Why would I buy a bundled fee if I know how much I'm paying for? Transactional pay-as-you-use can get as expensive, if not more, as a bundled fee account. Now, don't come at me for this, but I also use transactional accounts because those are the ones that I can currently afford right now. A transactional pay-as-you-use account is you pay no or very low monthly fee according to this, but you're charged individually for each transaction. So like for ATM use and transfers and notifications and those things, those are charged individually. Okay, so I want to be looking at the banks quickly without wasting time, sticking to the categories that I mentioned in the beginning. I will be rating them out of 5. So each and every bank will have 5 categories, and each and every category will have a rating out of 5 put up on the screen because I am not a mathematical genius, so I can't add them on cue right now. The first product up the list is the Discovery Bank account. Discovery Bank Gold account is going to be the most expensive out of the 3 other banking products on our list. So this is going to be 160 Rand a month for a normal debit account banking product without any add-ons. It's going to be around 1,920 rands per year. Discovery Bank Gold account is one of those banks that is incredibly underappreciated, but also incredibly expensive. So yeah, as I'm talking to you, I'll be looking down here for referrals just as a clean, smooth video so that I don't have any misinformation. So I'll start with the banking app. The banking app is quite intuitive and people love it for good reasons. It's actually such a decent app. It's high praised for being polished and very simple, and it is reliable, and it must be because their banking app is a staple. It has to be working like 24/7. It cannot glitch for a fully digital bank. And people think that is the case, eh? People think it is a reliable app, and I've used the app myself, so I have personal experience. The app has never once glitched, although it does have a tendency to be a little bit of a lag sometimes, but that could be like my network or my phone and compatibility issues. Most of the apps work great on iPhones. I don't use iPhone, so we have like a seamless integration with their rewards program, Vitality Money. You can easily see everything from that. And a lot of users on Reddit really praised it for just its simplicity and the fact that it is actually combined with easy equities. There's just an ease with using it with easy equities, unlike a lot of other banks that do have easy equities inside of their app. You can easily do transfers between easy equities as though it's one of your banking accounts. You know, you can seamlessly transfer money. I've done this. I've transferred like 2 rands between the accounts just to test it out, and it works like magic. So yeah, it's like very great, and people praise it for its ease and speed. It's really not a complicated app. So on that front, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. It's really what banking apps should be like. Next, we're going to look at the Discovery's savings. Now, their savings are kind of like okay. They're decent compared to other banks out there. I should mention that out of all of the categories, I'm just going to be strictly looking at one type of savings. This is going to be the Notice Deposit Savings account. Do they offer this first? Yes, they do. And what are their rates? 7.2%, I believe, as of this month, which is not too bad, but it has reduced. This bank last year around this time was around 8.45%, but now they've like reduced it to about 7.2%, and that's the issue, is that they consistently decrease their earnings on interest and increase their banking fees. It won't be long before its interest rates are around the 6 range, at which point I'm going to take all my money and run. I'm going to give this a 3.5 because I really don't like that inconsistency. I want to put in my money, forget about it, and have it earning good, stable interest. It gets a 3.5 for me out of 5. Next, we're going to look at the fees. I did just mention that they consistently increase their fees year on year. It's like crazy. Right now, their bundled fee is going to be crazy expensive. It's like the most expensive at 160 per month, right? And what do you get for this 160 per month according to their banking fees here? Specifically for this transactional account, which is bundled, we're going to look at the ATM withdrawals. You get 4 free ATM withdrawals per month, free debit orders, and you're not charged on inter-account transfers. You don't get charged for any notifications as far as I can tell. So in terms of fees, they're reasonable once you start transacting. But that hefty monthly fee is unbearable, right? Paying 160 rands a month for just a basic card is crazy. And to top it all off with the fees is that they keep increasing them almost every single year. So for this, I'm just going to play it safe and give it a 3.5 for now. Next is going to be the rewards. This is actually Discovery's winning or trophy category. It has like top tier cashback incentives, Vitality program. And then from that, you get your Discovery miles. The Discovery miles are actually quite decent. So you get 1 Discovery miles per 20 rand that you spend, and it's not a lot because 10 discovery miles are actually R1. So you would need to be spending like $100 to actually be getting that R1 back. So that's not as great. And it also depends on the tier. So for their rewards, they say you don't get any cashback on daily food purchases. Like there's none at all. Like you don't get that. You don't get healthy food incentives. You also don't get like any healthy care and any healthy baby perks at all with this product. But what you do get is local flights discounts, international flights discounts, and accommodation and car hire discounts. 25% on local flights, 10% on international. And you get 25% on accommodation and car hire. I think their partners are Europe Car as well. Beyond that, you get your game board. Game board is like if you meet a certain minimum weekly spend, you do get your cashback. Kind of like how I did just now. I literally bought R7 worth of items this week, and last week, and it got me a game board play. So it means I could pick a random tile, kind of like gambling, and I could get a value of anything between R10 and $100, right? So with this card, you can earn R100 or 1,000 discovery miles from using the fuel partners, even though you don't actually technically earn cashback there. But as long as you shop at their fuel partners, that's BP and Shell. For healthy food, if you buy at Checkers or Woolies, you also get that extra tile. They call it a tile, up to 800 discovery miles, which is the equivalent of $80. That's the gist of it. You get discovery miles, and those discovery miles are then convertible to cash if you want. And if you don't want to use them for cash, you could literally just buy with them on Take a Lot at a discounted rate furthermore. So you get 5% off with just this product. And on special day, on the 15th, you get 10% off when you're buying with your discovery miles. And that's pretty much all you need to know about this card. It earns good cashback earn rates. For me, it doesn't make any practical sense to jump to this one and pay $160. But you're paying a little bit more for this specific product, $160 a month for the free transactions, and you tailor in the savings that is decent. For the rewards, I'm going to give Discovery like a 5 out of 5. So with Discovery, it's going to give you cashback in multiple ways. And, if you add add-ons, it's going to be quite more rewarding. But without the add-ons, it's okay. Here's the overall rating on the screen. And you can choose it for if you can really afford it. But overall, because of the price point for what you're getting, it's just not worth it. So would I recommend you get this card? No. I would say just rather get the transactional account, which is a step beneath this one. The next banking product is Capitec. This is actually the most affordable one out of all of this list that I made. The Capitec Global One is a debit card, and it's also like a transactional pay-as-you-use account. It's not like the others that you're going to see on this list here. The others are bundled fees. And I put it here mostly because it doesn't have a bundled fee version, but it is one of the South African favorites. So the global one is R7.50 per month, and that is like R90 per annum. We're going to start off with the first category, which is the banking app. The banking app is quite intuitive, user-friendly, easy to use, has simple interface. There's just not a lot of confusion around it, and people love it. It's got great reviews around its apps. And some of these reviews actually come from Trustpilot. They do say on the negative side that it has occasional customer service complaints around freezing funds and disputes around that. Overall, for some simplicity, easy to use services, integration with easy equities, it does have easy equities, I will give it a 5 out of 5. And then we're going to go straight to the next category, which is the savings. Now, the prized possession for Capitec is that it has multiple savings accounts that you can open. The downside is none of them are like good rates. They're just below the decent average. Like it's like decent to poor quality of savings rates. So like I said, I'm going to be looking at explicitly the 32-day notice savings accounts for each and every one of these in this category. You know how it is. If a bank just fails to bring up a good notice savings account, it really doesn't know how to do savings well. We're seeing rates of around 6.3 to 6.49 average. And that's only if you have like a minimum of 0 to 25,000 rands in your savings account. So minimum you'll get 6.3. And if you have anything above 250,000, which I don't know why you would have that much in a 32-day, it starts actually being valuable at around 7.5 to 7.8. So overall for savings, I would want to say a few things first. They do have like an earnings when you have like a positive balance in your main account. So I'm going to give this like a a hard two. I don't like the 32-day notice thing because you have to have a lot of money in order to start earning at that interest. And we want anything above 7%. Typically, that's a decent earning. But here you're only limited or capped to about 6, which is not good. So savings, yeah, it gets a 2 for me. It's not really good with that. Next is going to be the fees. The fees is actually the most excitable part, or the core of what makes Capitec. Because Capitec, we can say for fees, they seem like they're actually cheaper than everyone. So for starters, the monthly fee is the lowest out of all of these banking products. However, they have something I really, really dislike, and I've said it in its full review. You can check it out. I talked about Capitec and I was like, yeah, basically the fees here are structured to be micro-transactional. What that means is it is a true pay-to-use product. So like you're going to be paying for everything. For example, they have a lot of different fees here, so I'm not going to get into all of them. They have an SMS fee for like 35 cents. So it means if Capitec sends you any sort of notification, like a payment notification, that's usually 35 cents. And I think right after you do the payment, you also get charged 35 cents. So already we're off to a bad start. Their debit orders are priced at 3 Rand per debit order. If you make like weekly payments, it's going to be even more expensive, right? Because you're paying for all of them. The cash withdrawal is actually a plus. It's really good. When you use payments from Capitec to Capitec, you're charged 1 Rand. And if you're using your Capitec account to send money to another person, it's going to be 2 Rand. For cash withdrawals, it's going to be 10 Rand per 1,000 Rands, which is very decent. And the international ATM fee is about 70 bucks. But you don't get any free withdrawals or anything like that here. They have a send cash feature, which is like you send money to a phone number and that person can withdraw that amount even without having a Capitec account. So that's going to cost you like 10 Rand. So if you want to receive an international payment with this account, you're going to be charged 50 bucks. If you're making an international payment, especially if it's with another foreign currency, it's going to be 175 Rand if it's relevant. So if you're transferring between your accounts, at least that is free. So when you're buying airtime, data, or SMS bundles, that is going to be 50 cents. Electricity is 1 Rand, which is the standard rate. If you're paying bills or you're playing the lottery, that's 2 Rand. And yeah, that's pretty much all of the fees that they have. Out of fees, I'm going to say they're actually quite affordable based on how they structure their fees. But the main thing is that they primarily charge on every single transaction. And if you're not careful on big purchases, this could get quite expensive, because if you pay for things in a recurring way, it will be a lot more. So say, for example, you earn your salary fortnightly or you earn it every week and you have debit orders going off every week. That gets quite expensive real fast. So that's ideally not your best bank if your debit orders are like this. So if you are like a weekly person, do not get Capitec. It's going to charge you a lot more. But if you're like a one-off kind of purchaser, like you buy groceries at the end of the month, you pay for all of your debit orders at the end of the month, and you need to withdraw money like once a month, this is good. But if you do it like every other week or 2 times a week or something like that, it's going to add up real fast. Again, I've talked about this on my other video when I was talking about Capitec, and yeah, it's quite expensive on frequent purchases, but actually decent on normal purchases. I'm actually a person who frequently moves money around a lot, so it's not ideal for me. So for banking, I would otherwise have rated it 5, but because of this micro transactional thing for them, I'm gonna rate this a 4 out of 5, because they still are affordable, especially for ATM withdrawals, but you have to pay for everything. So yeah, I really don't like that. So you're gonna get a 4 from me. So it prizes itself as this affordable bank, but it really adds up at the end. So the next point, which is the most important point and probably why I made the video, is the reward or the cashback side, right? So Capitec doesn't have a lot in the way of like flights, redemptions, or discounts for big things. It's just really about the consumer type of banking. So it's structured to give people cashback in a simplistic way without all the fancy points. The one thing I do like on the rewards here, I'm going to start with this one. It has easy equities. So you get 20% off your brokerage fees on easy equities. That's a nice thing. However, my brokerage fees really aren't that much. So they have a bunch of partner stores here where you can get cashback or discounts. So I'm going to name a few quickly and just run through them. They have Uber One, Showmax, Garmin, like the watch or fitness brand, easy equities, that 20% I was telling you about, Cash Build, Discam, and Discam Baby City. So you get 1% cashback on your purchases. To focus on the cashback stuff, you only get like 1% at Discount, 1% at Cashbuild. Those are the only partners that earn you cashback. Everything else is more like a discount. I'm not sure if this actually qualifies for the debit card necessarily. I think you have to get the credit card for some of these. Look this up. It says on the debit card you earn 0.5% cashback at the partner stores. Otherwise, pretty much it. And they have something called a roundup savings feature, which is basically something I should have included in the savings category. But then I thought it's kind of like a cashback incentive. This like rounds up whatever amount that you're going to pay. And from that whole purchase, they take a couple of rands and put them in your savings account. Very helpful stuff for an everyday shopper. But considering that you would have to spend a lot with your card, like swipe many times to actually see your roundup savings value increase, means this is already the wrong card pair up. Like the way that you earn money is going to be the way that you lose. Remember, it's a frequent charging card. So like if you're going to be swiping on everything almost all the time, it's going to give you that rounds up cash back, but it's also going to be taking a portion almost on every transaction that you make. And it's going to get quite expensive that way. So that's why I said I didn't like the way the fees are structured. As much as they are cheap, you can't really use it too much. You really have to be limiting it to certain things, but then you lose the savings feature. So it might incentivize you to spend, but for savings, it's really not your best friend here. And in fact, you get charged for these additional services almost all of the time. But overall, this is not really great for cashback, provided like you can afford their banking fees. If your cashback is greater than your banking fees, then congratulations, you've just chosen the right product for you. But in most cases, this will tend to be the other side, where in order to get all of those cashback incentives, you have to swipe more. And if you swipe more, you get charged more, if that makes sense. So overall, the value is going to be up on the screen. I don't like this as a strong cashback earning. But if you really have no choice and you're usually like a strong Capitec supporter, then this is perfect for you.